Good morning. I'm Cheryl, and I'm going to help celebrate this morning. UU is pretty new to me still, and we're kind of still getting to know each other. So be generous in your thought process here. My wife and I started trying to get here in about 2016 because we had a grandson that moved up here when he was a baby. And it took us a long time to get here, and then the pandemic hit. We got here about 2019, the pandemic hit. And so we didn't really start getting out until after the pandemic, and then it took us a couple years to find this community. And Donna had been Methodist for the most part, and I grew up Disciples of Christ, although more agnostic. But I would go with her to different churches. We'd find a church that we liked, and we would go, regardless the denomination. And then I would gently nudge the minister to the middle, and every time they said words I didn't really get or felt right, I'd say community in my thought process. And then we moved here. And it's all about community, so I didn't have anything to argue about or nudge anybody to the middle. If anything, maybe the other way around. But anyways, so thank you for your generosity and understanding and helping with this journey. Specifically, I want to thank Elizabeth Berlinger. We were tabling at the Pride event last year, and I get kind of rowdy and I'm yelling at people to come visit this crazy church and bring your kids, you know. And then also I was kind of raising some concerns about, well, you know, we just don't know if this is quite right for us. It's close, but something seems to be missing. And she finally turned to me and said, I don't think you think we're very spiritual. And I didn't have an answer for that. And so I took that to Reverend Elizabeth, and she got all excited. So we're doing a little bit on spirituality. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those that are joining us for the first time. Do not be afraid. I'm not usually doing this, so it'll get better next time. There's a welcome desk in the front foyer there, and there's a little one back there. And people have papers you can take home and look up more information and a name tag. I didn't wear a name tag today because I was saying my name anyways, so I thought that would be good enough for today. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can point you toward additional information. And don't let not having a name tag stop you from saying hello to people. And you know, I come from the age where we were trying to get rid of labels, no labels, and now it seems like everybody wants a special label, which is okay. I'm all for whatever you need and want. But it's just however you feel about it, that's what you need to do. If you're joining us online, you can fill out the newcomer information on the website, and someone would reach out to you. If you're here, you can join us for coffee and conversation downstairs for a little bit after the service, and we want everyone to feel welcome and supported here. So let's begin in the spirit by saying our words of welcome together. Whether strolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you chose to join us. We are one people, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. So today, if you are new or if you're newer, they're going to have a little workshop after the coffee with a light lunch, and Reverend Elizabeth Stevens will be there and other important people. And there'll be time to get acquainted, ask questions, introduce you to the Unitarian Universalism, and talk about shared values and principles. And so that's today. It's right after the coffee, so stick around if you're wanting to get to know more about that. Am I doing something wrong?
Oh, okay, you printed this out before I added the other announcements.
Oh,
It's all right. Don't say.
Okay. So we're going to take a minute. I'm out of order, but we're going to take a little minute and say hello to everybody that's looking in at from home across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you guys can oh, you're already waving. Good. See, they're really good at this. Turn on your picture, even if you have a messy room, and wave at us. Okay, everybody here, wave back. Make sure you see everybody. Thank you so much. And we have a couple more announcements.
You're going to have to drive this up. Thank you. Okay, so a couple other additional announcements. Next Sunday, the Committee on Ministry will host a listening circle to discuss the draft of our new covenant. We've been in the process of revising our covenant for about a year now. So next Sunday, in person, there are 3 opportunities to interact with the draft. Next Sunday, in person, the Committee on Ministry will host a listening circle. A week from Thursday, so Thursday, February 12th, there will be a Zoom meeting where you could come and talk about the new draft covenant. And then we're also going to send out a Google form that you can fill out any old time. So keep an eye on your email for details. Also, Bill Turner. Bill, you want to stand up? He's easy to find because he's wearing bright orange. Bill's hosting a table downstairs to share information about his upcoming bike ride to raise funds for the Fuller Center for Housing. Bill is 75 years old. He's a cancer survivor. He's had 2 shoulder replacements. And he is going to ride his bike all the way from Long Beach, California to Tucson, Arizona. So we might question his sanity, but not his dedication. So go ahead and find him during coffee hour, and he'll tell you all about why.
And page 7 of your newsletter.
Yep, and he's also written an article that's on page 7 of your February newsletter. Okay, here end the announcements.
Close enough. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay. The land on which our church is built is part of the ancestral homeland of the Nimipu, the people, and mistakenly called the Nez Perce, or Pierce Noses by French-speaking trappers and traders. We acknowledge the land. The land is held in sacred kinship since time immemorial. The land and its peoples suffered immeasurable trauma brought by Euro-American society, and we are working with its resilient peoples to show respect and contribute to the healing and nurturing of this Hetawaitas, precious land, and all its people. Folks joining us via Zoom, please light a chalice or candle, and let's light the chalice here together. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
Good morning, everyone. I am the Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Stevens, and I am lucky enough to serve this congregation as its minister. How's everyone doing? Are we hanging in there? All right. For opening words this morning, I want to share this beautiful piece written by my colleague and friend, the Reverend Gretchen Haley. There is too much beauty in this world to give up on it yet, and it is always too soon to surrender to cynicism. Bring your doubt, your skepticism, your downright confusion, even your bitterness. But in the midst of all these, in the center, wrap your tender fingers around that still, bright thread of hope. Feel in your heart that still, steady hunger for something more. The vision we glimpse every day in the rising sun across the foothills, the light that spreads across the face of the one we love, the look of knowing all there is to know and still loving life, loving us, just as it is, just as we are. For this hour, we come to celebrate, to praise, to give thanks, to refuse to give up, to steady ourselves, keepers of hope, brave builders of this still possible world. Come, let us worship together. We're going to sing around. So I invite you to rise and body your spirit. We're going to sing it through together once, and then there's enough of you, I'm going to divide you into 4 parts. Oh, I have faith in you. All right, let's see. I'm going to have the people up on the balcony and the people in the first 2 rows, okay, be the first group, okay? I'm going to have the people on the right-hand side and the first 2 people on the edge of the aisle be group 2. The people in the middle are going to be group 3, and the people on the left and on the bench in the back, you're going to be group 4. You got it? And if you get confused, sing whatever you want.
of us. I can't believe we pulled that off. It was beautiful. I was confused, but it worked. Oh, so I am Ginger Yoder. No, come. And
I invite you now into a time of meditation or prayer. This is a piece called Poem, The Spirit Likes to Dress Up, by Mary Oliver. The spirit likes to dress up like this: 10 fingers, 10 toes, shoulders, and all the rest. At night in the black branches, in the morning in the blue branches of the world. It could float, of course, but would rather plumb rough matter. Airy and shapeless thing, it needs the metaphor of the body, lime and appetite, the oceanic fluids. It needs the body's world, instinct and imagination, and the dark hug of time, sweetness and tangibility. To be understood, to be more than pure light that burns where no one is. So it enters us in the morning, shines from brute comfort like a stitch of lightning. And at night, lights up the deep and wondrous drownings of the body like a star. Let's rest in silence together for a time. Amen, and blessed be. Beautiful, thank you. Our reading today comes out of the New York Times. It's a brief excerpt from a piece written by David Brooks, the opinion piece where he announces his retirement, actually. Time to say goodbye. Loss of faith produces a belief in nothing. Nihilism is the mindset that says that whatever is lower is more real. Selfishness, egoism, and the lust for power drive human affairs. Altruism, generosity, honor, integrity, and hospitality are mirages. Ideals are shams that the selfish use to mask their greed. The elements of our civilization that lift the spirit, nurture empathy, and orient the soul now play a diminished role in national life. Religious devotion, theology, literature, art, history, philosophy. How can we reverse this pervasive loss of faith in one another, in our future, and in our shared ideals? True humanism is the antidote to nihilism. Humanism comes in many flavors: secular humanism, Christian humanism, Jewish humanism, and so on. It is any endeavor that deepens our understanding of the human heart, any effort to realize eternal spiritual values in our own time and circumstances, any gesture that makes other people feel seen, heard, and respected. We are going to do another hymn, but there's nobody to play the piano. You want me to play it? I can play this one, okay. So it's hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. And I think you can sing it sitting down if you want, actually.
All right, for all the people on Zoom. Okay, hello everyone on Zoom. If you can hear me, put something into the chat. Great. They've been having issues today, so I was working on that downstairs. Okay. We'll now sing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
I have heard any number of people assert that they are spiritual but not religious. Anyone else heard that phrase? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've also heard a lot of people say that they're not very spiritual at all. What do they mean by those terms, and what do we? My favorite way to answer is to look at the etymology of the words. The word religious comes from the Latin religare, which means to rebind or reconnect. So one way to understand religion is that it invites us into renewed relationship with one another, and or with the natural world, and or with a particular tradition or story, and or with that which we experience as transcendent or holy. The word spiritual comes from the word spiritualis, which means pertaining to the breath or to the wind. We might understand spirituality then as something that is intrinsic to being human, as breathing. We might understand it to be that which infuses our life with meaning, that gives us buoyancy. We humans evolved to make meaning. It is in our nature to look at the raw material of life, to look at reality and find patterns, create stories. We crave a sense of significance. We care about our legacy. In this sense, I believe to be human is to inherently be spiritual. The way I think about it is that spirituality is the set of beliefs, values, and practices that help us stay human and grow in wisdom and maturity. The thing is, though, that spirituality doesn't need to have an element of the supernatural. It doesn't have to be related to a deity. So when someone says they are not very spiritual, I think what they actually mean is that they have a spirituality that's grounded in reality rather than a religious or philosophical tradition. When someone says they're spiritual but not religious, I understand that to mean that their spirituality is inwardly focused rather than something they want to explore in community. The problem with that, though, is without relationships, there's no one to hold a person accountable. It becomes disturbingly easy to hide behind privilege or to slip into toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. From my perspective, the fact that you're alive means that you are a spiritual being, and the fact that you're here today means you are religious. Or if you're just checking us out, you're at least considering becoming religious. The challenge may be that both terms, spiritual and religious, are linked in people's minds to belief in God or the supernatural. In the very first sermon I ever preached in this room, nearly 14 years ago now, I made the assertion that whether or not we believe in God, we Unitarian Universalists are all humanists. I said some of us find this three-letter G word to be a useful symbol as we strive to articulate who we are, why we are here, and what we are called to be and do, and some of us don't. It's actually a very small distinction. And I'll say more about this in the next two services I'm leading, one of which is on atheist spirituality and the other on theism. Whether you have a close personal relationship with a god, gods, or goddesses, or reject any belief that has a hint of the otherworldly, know that you belong here. When it comes to beliefs, the beliefs we choose to integrate into our personal spirituality, what matters is whether those beliefs are grounded in love or created out of fear. The word belief comes from the root word löv, which means to love. Believing all people are worthy of respect, compassion, and care, that's a belief rooted in love. Discrimination and oppression are creations of fear. Fear of the other, fear of scarcity. Now, we don't all believe the same thing in this community. That would be so very boring. The old stories may resonate in some ways for some of us, But we don't require adherence to any creed or doctrine. We don't have a central text. We believe there are as many ways to be human as there are humans. All spiritual paths that are based in love are valid. So, if spirituality is the set of beliefs, values, and practices that help us stay human and grow in wisdom and maturity, we just covered beliefs. Let's move on to values. The word value comes from the Proto-Indo-European word val, which means to be strong. To be strong. Our values are the things that make us strong. They're what gives structure and momentum to our lives. Now, our shared UU values, the ones up on the walls and on the front of the pulpit, are a component of our individual spirituality, and they're the common ground at the heart of our religious community. Individually, we figure out how to express these values in our living, and together we embrace them as a guiding star. But I would venture a guess that these aren't the only values that matter to us as individuals or even as a community. Personally, I really value honesty and authenticity, beauty and joy. How about you? What else do you value? Throw out some words. Humor. Laughter. What did you say? Wonder. Each other. Curiosity. Open-mindedness. Whimsy. Freedom. Empathy. Yeah. Accountability. Creativity. I missed one over here. Gratitude. Yeah. Okay. Our values shape how we approach life. We try to make choices that are in line with our values. Sometimes we don't, and when we're out of alignment, we feel it. When we're out of alignment with our values, it doesn't feel pleasant. One of the purposes of religious community is to teach children, in particular, a different set of values than they're going to get out in the world. The larger culture values appearance, wealth, and productivity over kindness, compassion, mercy, and generosity. And I think that's a big part of why we're in the mess we're in. Now, our worship services, what we do together on Sundays, they serve the purpose of spotlighting what we value. The word worship comes from Old English, veort and shipe, which mean together to lift up that which has worth. You don't have to worship God on Sundays any more than you have to believe in God to be spiritual or subscribe to a creed in order to be religious. And just to be clear, you don't ever have to agree with anything that's said in worship by me or by anyone else. So do you understand what I'm doing here? I'm reclaiming words that have been co-opted and corrupted and used in ways that have caused harm. I'm opening them back up, creating space within them for each of us to find what works best for us as individuals and fits within the framework that we create here together. This isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's essential for us as human beings to zoom out and see the big picture, and then quiet down, turn inward, and listen for the wisdom within that guides us in our decisions and helps us live lives that are satisfying and beautiful. Which leads me to spiritual practices. A spiritual practice is anything we do with intention and attention. Now, it might look like a traditional practice, prayer, meditation, or yoga. It might be something different, like cooking or walking in the forest. Ginger once told me that the reason she loves mountain biking so much is because it demands her full attention. She can't think about anything else or she'll go head over tea kettle. And I said, well, that means, Ginger, for you, mountain biking is your spiritual practice. What these times of focus, of attention and intention do for us is they open the channel between our conscious mind and the still small voice, that deep wisdom at our core. The noise created by the culture, by other people's needs, that noise quiets, and we're able to reestablish contact with our own deep truth. As for how spirituality and religion are connected to faith, the roots of that word point us to another important quality, trust. In what do we place our trust? I turn to Sharon Salzberg's book on faith. She writes, "Faith is the quality of the heart that impels us to seek what is constant and whole. Faith helps us approach life with a sense of possibility rather than foreboding or helplessness. It dares us to imagine what we might be capable of. It enables us to reach for what we don't yet know with a measure of courage. It gives us resilience in times of difficulty and the ability to respond to challenges without feeling trapped. My own faith has taught me that whatever disappointments I might meet, I can try again, trust again, and love again." Salzberg describes faith as an evolutionary process. The first stage is bright faith, which feels like falling in love. We find a path or a guru or a spiritual leader who we think has figured it all out and can teach us how to do this human being thing. Bright faith feels awesome, but it is fickle. Our path goes someplace that doesn't work for us. Our guru turns out to have clay feet. Our spiritual leader says or does something that leaves us cold, and we come to a decision point. We can look for a new path, a new guru or leader, seeking that feeling of bright faith, or we can gather up our courage and enter the next stage, which is verifying faith. Verifying faith is a time of testing and doubting. We take the truths that are offered to us and we compare them to our experiences, our own deep truths, our intuition. We start picking and choosing. We move through feelings of confusion and despair. We start to create our own path, one slow and careful step at a time. If we do this work with patience and compassion for ourselves and one another, we eventually arrive at the third stage, which is abiding faith. Abiding faith is hard to put into words. It grows in us slowly as we move toward all of life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When we embrace the fullness of this human adventure we are on, as Salzberg puts it, abiding faith does not depend on borrowed concepts. Rather, it is the magnetic force of a bone-deep, lived understanding, one that draws us to realize our ideals, walk our talk, and act in accord with what we know to be true. Abiding faith grows as we realize that we are connected, part of the interdependent web. It grows when we accept that everything will be okay, and nothing is ever going to be okay, and everything will be okay. Faithful people are able to make peace with the truth that none of us get out of this alive, and that our fears, our loss, grief, trauma, and death only serve to keep us from the sweetness life has to offer. We don't need to have faith in a higher power or in anything else for that matter. We just have to keep seeking, keep learning and growing. Abiding faith trusts life as it unfolds. A spirituality devoid of this kind of abiding faith runs the risk of devolving into the nihilism that David Brooks talked about in our reading. If you believe that what you do matters, and I sure hope you do, then you have faith. If you believe that what we do together matters, then you have religion too. In these times when the worst aspects of human nature, greed, hatred, and cruelty, are being normalized and even celebrated, it's more important than ever to tend to our spirits, to grow and mature, to play in the sandbox of meaning, to get over our discomfort with the words or metaphors we might need to use to talk about our spirituality. It's hard right now to stay hopeful and resilient. We need the buoyancy, the lightness of spirit. We need the connections we have to one another and to all that is. We need those authentic experiences of reverence that remind us who we are and why we are here. And we need one another most of all. Remember Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, builds signal fires, causes proper matters to catch fire. To display the lantern of soul in shadowy times like these, to be fierce and to show mercy toward others, Both are acts of immense bravery and greatest necessity. Struggling souls catch light from other souls who are fully lit and willing to show it. If you would help to calm the tumult, this is one of the strongest things you can do. Our spiritual journey is a road that leads us to become stronger, braver, wiser, and more loving. Our religious community supports us and challenges us and bears witness to our miraculous spirit. That's why we're here. And that's why what we do here matters. So be it, and so may it be. I invite you to rise now and body your spirit. We're going to sing number 1024 in the teal hymnal, Spirit Says Do. You know, we had to keep that shout in there because we did shape note singing in here yesterday. My throat is still raw. In a good way. In a good way. Our closing reading is Experience Connection by Peter Morales. What does deep spirituality feel like to you? Spirituality is impossible to define and difficult to describe. For me, it feels like connection. Connection to myself, to others around me, to the earth and all of creation. Connection to myself feels like deep peace, awareness, calm, authenticity. Connection to others feels like compassion, community, acceptance, and enduring love. Spirituality is not an idea, it is an experience. When I experience connection, dividing lines disappear. Inner conflict gives way to integrity. The line that separates my individuality from others fades. We become one. I find connections with my deepest self in times of solitary practice and reflection. I find connection with others in community, often in worship. All the great spiritual traditions teach this. Today, the connection with creation, with the earth and the cosmos, may be the most difficult. We live in artificial, controlled environments that separate us from the natural world. More than humans in any other time, we live separated from the natural world, from the world from which we emerged and that sustains our lives. We so very much need to experience our world. We need to let go of controlling our world and allow ourselves to become one with it. We find ourselves when we lose ourselves. May we connect, really connect. When we do, it changes everything. Please join me in our musical benediction, There Is a Love. Please say with me the words to embody our chalice flame. We extinguish this chalice that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. Will you breathe with me? Breathe in. Breathe out. And in. And out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. We breathe in love. We breathe in peace. We keep breathing. We keep going. We keep loving. We keep weaving connection. We keep caring. We keep going along together. I love you all. Go in peace. Come back next Sunday.